Hello there and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Michelle Emerson and I'm a 4th grade teacher in Maryland. I recently asked you all on Instagram to share your assumptions about me, which made me a little bit nervous, but I did it. And I thought today I would go through your assumptions and let you know which ones are correct and which ones are not correct. First of all, if you are not already following me on Instagram, go ahead and do that. It's at Pocketful of Primary, because you never know when I might ask for some input on a video. Let's go ahead and jump into it. First assumption, you've always wanted to be a teacher. True, very true. I think I've shared that before in videos, but when I was in 2nd grade, I decided I wanted to be a teacher. I loved my 2nd grade teacher, and when I saw what he did, like I had this distinct memory of sitting in class going, that's what I want to do. I'm pretty sure at the time it's because he had the answer key to whatever it was that we were working on. But nonetheless, I kind of fell in love with teaching. I used to hold school for all the neighborhood kids on my front porch. I took it very seriously. I would print off like worksheets and I would assign them homework and they would have to come back to my porch the next day and I would check their homework. I didn't have many friends as a kid and now we know why. You rarely have days where you don't work. True. Yeah, I wish it wasn't true, but honestly, with as much as I do, it's hard to not have days where I don't work. I would say out of a month, I probably have one day where like I don't touch anything school related or business related. Otherwise, I'm doing something work related every day. But keep in mind, like I have a lot going on. Obviously, I'm in the classroom full time. I'm also team lead and I serve as my school's e-coach. I had grad school on my plate up until, last year, and I had wedding planning and I was writing a book and I have my business. I have creating products and creating YouTube videos and podcast recording and running Teaching on the Double and the digital planners. Like it's just a lot. So it's hard to take a day fully off, with the exception of my honeymoon. I did not work at all on my honeymoon, which I am proud of. You're always put together. So this was actually submitted by quite a few people. This specific one is a past coworker of mine. And I feel like she's trying to allude to the fact that I am always put together. I feel like this is definitely false, although it depends on what you mean by put together. If you mean as in like put together physically, like, I'm wearing real clothes and doing my hair and makeup, that's completely false. In fact, I was kind of dreading having to do my hair and makeup for this filming. Also, spoiler alert, I'm wearing sweatpants currently. So I'm definitely not put together in that sense. In terms of having like my life together, I think in certain aspects, yeah, I do. I've always been very mature for my age and that has helped, but I fall apart just like everyone else. Like I will have nights where it all hits me and I just start crying and I feel like I can't handle any of it. So definitely false. Certain aspects of my life, I do have it all together, but in many, many ways, I do not. You had a 4.0 in undergrad. Yeah, true. I actually had a 4.2 GPA in high school when I graduated. And then I had a 4.0 in undergrad and also in grad school. So nerd alert. Organization comes naturally to you. Also true, very true. I've always been a very organized person. As a kid, my room was always clean. My sister used to pay me to help her clean her room. And it's always been something that has just brought me a lot of joy. I have this memory when I was in probably 6th grade, we had a book fair and there was this book on organization and I bought it and I was very happy about it and I read it cover to cover at least 5 times. So yes, organization has always come naturally to me. You're a slight perfectionist. If you take out the word slight, then true. I'm not a slight perfectionist. I am very, very much so a perfectionist. I'm trying to work on it because even though it is a good thing in a lot of aspects of my life, it's also not such a good thing because I can take it to the extreme. So I'm trying to work on it, but yes, that is very, very true. You don't get angry at all. False, very false. I do get angry, but not easily. So you're right in that aspect. I don't get angry easily, but it's funny because the weirdest things will really irk me and make me angry. For example, slow walkers, especially in the gym. When I'm trying to walk to my piece of equipment and I get stuck behind someone who is walking like 2 miles an hour, it drives me insane. And I do get very angry at that. I don't like yell or anything. I keep it on the inside and then I, take it out in my workout, but I do get angry just like everyone else. You loved the Babysitters Club books. False. I did not read a lot as a kid. It just wasn't for me. But the books that I did read, I tended to read over and over and over again, which that part of me has not gone away. I'm the same way with TV shows and movies. I would rather watch a TV show that I've seen 10 million times than watch a new one. And I think it's because I know what to expect. There's a certain comfort in it. And when I'm watching a new show, like I will get stressed out about it because I don't know what's coming next, and that's very bothersome. So as a kid, I really liked Nancy Drew books. I did read a lot of Nancy Drew, and I really liked Roald Dahl as an author. So I loved like Matilda, the BFG. I read those like cover to cover over and over again. And then one of my favorite books as a kid, this is so random, but The Indian in the Cupboard. I found it in our like little attic storage area. I think it was my sister's. I found it when I was probably in like 5th or 6th grade, and I was just like, oh, let me read this. And I loved it. And I read that book like over and over again. But no, I did not read any Babysitters Club. Even though you're very social and upbeat now, we'll come back to that in a second, you were shy in high school. So true in that I was shy in high school, but I don't think I'm that social now. I'm happy that you all think that I am, and I'm sure I come across that way on YouTube. I do not socialize a lot. That sounds awful. I mean, I socialize with Billy, but like, I don't go out and like hang out with people very often. Socializing for me is very exhausting. I'm very much an introvert, so I get my energy from being alone versus from being with other people. But I will say, when I was in elementary school and even middle school, I was very outgoing and very talkative. I was that kid that got in trouble for talking, and no matter where the teacher moved my seat, I would still get in trouble for talking. I'm pretty sure it's written on some of my old report cards that like I talk too much. But for whatever reason, when I got into high school, it's almost like a switch flipped for me, and I was a lot more quiet and reserved. I think it's partially because I was focusing a lot on, my studies, like whatever, again, 4.2 in high school, but I also just, I don't know, I think my personality started to change. It's funny because I had a teacher for history, and I had him in 7th grade, and then I had him again in 9th grade. And in 7th grade, I was in a class with my best friend. We were neighbors, and when we were together, it was like a hot mess. And we were in that history class together, and he did not like us because we were always talking, we were always goofing off. And when I then had him again in 9th grade, he saw me like first day, and he was like, oh great, it's you. And then later on in the semester, he actually apologized to me because he's like, you are so different now than when you were in 7th grade. So yes, I was kind of shy in high school. I mean, I wasn't shy. I just kind of kept to myself and did my own thing. I was friendly with everyone. Like I was kind of that in between. I definitely was not popular, but I was just kind of friends with everyone, if that makes sense. Like I was an athlete, so I was friends with all the other like athletes. I was kind of friends with some of the popular people, but I was also friends with the people who like maybe didn't have as many friends. So I was just kind of somewhere in the middle. You always knew Billy was the one. False. You all probably thought that that was true. I mean, it's an assumption video. So yeah, obviously you thought that was true, but no. When Billy and I first started dating, I pushed him away for probably the first 6 months-ish, because when we started dating, I had just gotten out of a relationship, and it was like a 2.5-year relationship. I did not want to be in a relationship. But when I met Billy, it's like I knew there was something different about him, and I didn't want to let him go, but I also was not in the place where I was ready to open up to someone because my other relationship had not ended well, and like I didn't want to be in a relationship. I was very closed off. I pushed him away a lot at the beginning. But then again, like I said, I knew there was something different about him, so I guess in a way I knew he was the one, although I don't know, I don't think it necessarily works like that. I think we had to do a lot of learning and growing together in order to make it work between us. But because we both put in that time and that energy, that's why it works for us now, if that makes sense. It's not like a destiny thing, it's more so because we chose to make it work. You want to wait a few years to have kids. Y'all, I got so many assumptions about kids. Some people who said, I want kids. Some people who said, I didn't want kids. This is true. We do want to wait a few years before we have kids. We are not in a rush at all. Honestly, we're kind of tired of people asking us about kids because we just got married, but we want to do a lot more together, just the two of us, before we bring a child into this world. We want to do a lot of traveling. We both have certain goals that we want to meet before we have kids. So for now, it is not on the table. In the future, we will see, but we're not in a rush. Your house is always spotless and organized. Very false. Definitely not spotless. I'm very into being organized. I'm less into like actual cleanliness, so not spotless at all. And certain aspects of our house are very organized and then other aspects aren't. Like our pantry's pretty organized. Our closet is very organized. I have my clothes all by type of article of clothing and then by color, so that is very organized. My dresser drawers are very organized, but the rest of the house, not so much. I mean, we have junk drawers, stuff piles up on the kitchen table. Like, you know, we're like everyone else. Like our house is not clean all the time at all. You've always been fit/athletic. I would say true for this. I mean, I feel like that's kind of weird for me to say about myself, but I think it's true. I did a lot of sports as a kid. The #1 sport that I did growing up was Taekwondo. I did that for like 5 or 6 years. I'll insert some little pictures on the screen for you all to see. I also was a cheerleader for a few years. I did both like sideline cheer and then competitive cheer. I played lacrosse for a few years, and then when I got into high school, I ran cross country, indoor and outdoor track. Then I went on to marathon running, and now I do powerlifting. So yeah, I would say I was pretty like fit/athletic growing up. You grew up in a very health conscious household. I would say false. I mean, my parents weren't overly health conscious. I feel like they were like your normal family. Like we ate healthy sometimes, but we also had treats and stuff. My mom was very, not strict, but she cared a lot about us not having things with excess sugar because my mom was a dental hygienist, so she cared a lot about our teeth. So a lot of like, you know, Gushers and fruit roll-ups, I would always see friends have that in their lunch and I was always jealous because I did not get that. But, you know, we drank Diet Coke and we would have pizza nights, and I remember there were certain nights where my mom would be home really late from work, so my dad and I would go to like Hardee's and get burgers and fries. So I feel like it was kind of a balance. I personally started becoming more health conscious when I was in college, and that's just something that I was passionate about and something that I enjoyed, but I don't think that necessarily came from the way that I was brought up. If anything, I think it's more related to my passion for fitness and knowing that what I eat and my nutrition plays a big role in that, if that makes sense. You collected coins as a child. It's such a random assumption. Yes, I guess, technically. I did have those like quarter collections, you know, the different states. I had like the map where you would put the quarters, but that was the extent of a coin collection. You wanna know what I actually collected as a child? First of all, I collected Snapple tops, like, you know, the ones that had the little facts on them. Even though I did not drink Snapple, I got my friends to give me their Snapple tops, and I had a collection of those. But my main collection as a child, I can't believe I'm admitting this on camera, was eraser shavings.
Wait, what?
When I was in 3rd grade, I think it was, my friend and I decided we were gonna break the world record for eraser shavings, which did not exist and still does not exist to this day, but we would spend our recess time just erasing. We used to erase on our agenda books because they had like a ribbed cover. So we would erase on that because it would get you more eraser shavings because the rib part would rub against the eraser. Anyway, and we would collect them in a can and we would weigh it every now and then to see how our collection was coming along. We were convinced we were gonna break the world record. Then we realized the world record did not exist. We were also very into sewing, so we decided we were gonna stuff a pillow with the eraser shavings, which thankfully never happened because that probably would have been a disaster, although it was very soft. And a couple years went by, my eraser shavings sat on a shelf out in the garage and then finally got thrown away. So rest in peace to that collection. You prefer cats over dogs. False. So even though I do have 2 cats, I grew up with a beagle. His name was Jake. He was adorable. I love dogs and I love cats. The reason I got cats when I was in college is because they are much easier to take care of. And I wanted a pet, you know, growing up, always having a pet. When I went off to college and didn't have that anymore, I missed like the companionship. So I got a cat because, again, easy to take care of, don't have to take them out for walks. They could live in a small apartment. And it's funny because growing up I didn't really like cats, but my roommate had a cat, so then I got Luna. Billy also was not into cats, but once he met Luna, he fell in love with her, so then we ended up getting Zora. We do, however, want to get a dog once we move into an actual house that we own versus renting, because dogs tend to cause more damage around a house and we want to have a yard and everything for the dogs. So nope, I love both cats and dogs. You were in a sorority. No, very false. And I don't have anything wrong. Like if you're in a sorority, that's fine. That's just not me. My roommate in college, my freshman year, was in a sorority. Well, she wasn't in a sorority, but all of her friends were. And it just was not my cup of tea. So nope, false. You are an only child. Also false. I do have an older half sister, so we have the same mom but different dads. She's 5 years older than me. You don't hear me talk about her a lot because I don't see her a lot, but she lives in Virginia. She's like 32, I think. And yeah, her name's Lauren. All right, final one. This one's also kind of random. You've never been to Norway. False, if the airport counts. So I've been to the Oslo airport. I technically have not stepped foot outside of the airport, but I have eaten some pizza while I was there and it was very expensive. Billy and I did not know the conversion between the money, and it wasn't until we got home and realized we paid like $50 for 2 or 3 slices of pizza at the airport, but technically I have been to Norway. All right, that is it. If you have other assumptions that maybe weren't answered in this video, leave a comment and I'll try to respond to as many of them as I can. But if you learned something new about me, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. I would love it if you would also hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you do not miss any future videos. As always, thank you for watching. I love you all so much. Don't forget to put your positive pants on, and I will catch you in the next one.